Hello, good morning, everybody. How are you? My name is Tanya Joffrey, and I am one of the admins in the group. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about macros. So, a little bit about me. I live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I have 4 children. My husband is a chiropractor here in Baton Rouge, and we are really, really passionate about educating and training people to live healthier lives. And so that's what we're going to do here today. I'm going to try to get some of your questions answered. We've been getting a lot of questions through private message and, some of the comments about what's a macro. And I've read, I've been trying to do some research and I keep seeing all this stuff about macros. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to explain some of that stuff to you guys this morning. So hopefully we can answer some of your questions. Okay, so what is a macro? A macro is a macronutrient. And basically, just what they shorten it to macro. And what that is, macros are units of food or fuel. And so it's either protein, carb, or fat. So those are your macros: your protein, carb, and fat. That's what they consider macro. So when people say, I need to know what my macros are, they want to know how much of each one of those they can have to optimize, weight loss, or to see what their optimum numbers for fat, protein, and carbohydrates are. So a lot of people don't count macros. Like Dr. Chanel, for instance, she's been doing this for so many years, and she just knows what's good for her body and what her body does, and she knows, what'll kick her out of ketosis, what'll put her in ketosis, and so she doesn't count macros, and also she does not have a huge amount of weight to lose also. So someone like her, it's not really necessary to count the macros. But for someone like me, I had a good bit of weight to lose, and also I'm a planner. And so I have to know, how much more, of this can I have, and how much of this can I have, especially for someone like myself, starting this diet. I was extremely sugar addicted, and so it was really, really hard for me to get past the cravings, and I always felt like I needed to be eating something, and like, how much more of this can I have? And, I got 5, carbs left for the day. I can have a fat bomb, or I have, I didn't eat enough fat, so I need to, add some more cream in my coffee, that sort of thing. So, it really helped me to stay on track. Counting macros is going to really help with the success if you are trying to lose weight, because just say, okay, yeah, you stuck to your 20 grams of carbs per day, but you could be overeating on protein. Excess amounts of protein in the body, excess protein turns to glycogen, and so your body can't tell the difference between excess protein and eating carbs. So if you eat too much protein, well, then it's going to knock you out of ketosis, because your body thinks you had carbs, because excess protein turns into glycogen if it's not used as fuel. So that's really important to know. People say, oh, I've been doing it for 4 days, I haven't had any carbs, I've had less than 10 carbs a day and still not ketosis. Well, you might be overeating protein. Or I talked to someone the other day in the group, and we were trying to figure out, what was going on with her ketosis, and she had mentioned that she was eating tomatoes. Tomatoes are not a big deal for some people, but for some people they are, because my husband can eat tomatoes, and small amounts in moderation, because they do have, carbs in them, because tomato is a fruit. So tomatoes carbohydrate structure lacks complexity, which means it's a simple carbohydrate. It's not a complex carbohydrate. So what that means is when you consume a tomato, your body breaks it down really fast. So when your body breaks it down really fast and turns it into glucose, it's going to spike your glucose levels. So sometimes that can knock you out of ketosis. But some people, it doesn't do that. So it's just, you have to kind of learn what's good for your body and what's not. Some people can eat tomatoes and have no problem, and some people cannot eat tomatoes at all, because it spikes their glucose too much. So that's really important to know those types of things, what's going to affect you and what's not. So to calculate macros, I like to use, it's called Keto Diet App, one word, KETODIETAPP.com. And they also have an app that goes to that website. It's like $6.99. I never pay for it. I just go to their website and use the macro calculator. You do have to know your body fat, the amount of body fat. I just had mine measured, so it wasn't a big deal for me. But they will also tell you how to measure your body fat on that calculator too. So if you don't know that, and you have to recalculate your macros every 10 pounds you lose, because every 10 pounds you lose, you have less body fat. So then you need to eat less protein. So your carbs are probably always going to stay the same, but you'll have less protein that you'll be able to eat. And the good thing about eating in the ketogenic way is that the less fat you have and the more time you're on it, your body's going to require less, so you won't be as hungry. And you'll notice that fasting is not a big deal because you won't really want to eat. In ketogenic eating, they tell you only eat when you're hungry. And right now it's not a big deal because you're always hungry, because you're just starting and you're breaking the sugar cravings. That candida's dying off, so it's you're like, oh, I'm hungry all the time, no big deal. But when you become fat adapted, and what that means is that over a certain amount of time, your body learns to burn ketones instead of glucose. And that's what it does. When you're fat adapted, your body doesn't have to think, oh, like, what fuel should I use? What fuel should I use? After a little bit of time, your body's going to say, oh, I'm burning ketones. I'm burning ketones. It doesn't even have to think about it. So you don't get as hungry, and, you get fuller from eating, and so it's a little bit easier once you've done it for a little while. Because I know people are like, I can't live like this. I'm hungry all the time. That does not last. That goes away pretty quickly once your body becomes more fat adapted. You want to make sure you're eating enough fat too, because if you're not eating enough fat, you don't have enough fuel, and so your body's not gonna the whole metabolic process is going to be off. So that's another way with counting the macros. So going through the keto diet app, I put all my information, my height, my weight, my fat amount, my age, all that stuff, and it gave me my macros. So for me, I'm 20 grams of carbs, 90 grams of protein, and 155 grams of fat. That's my optimum numbers for me to lose fat but not lose lean body muscle or lean body mass. Okay, so if I eat those numbers every day, I'm going to lose the maximum amount of fat and keep my lean muscle mass. But that's just for me. That's not everybody's numbers. You need to calculate your own. So that's that. And it also gives me a caloric range. It tells me 1,560 calories, but calories are not super important. Of course, you don't want to eat a ton of calories because then you're not going to lose the weight. But somewhere in that area, you don't really have to count calories as strict as if you were on a low calorie diet or, whatever. Your main thing is you want to make sure you're hitting your fat and protein macros. And of course, not over 20 carbs. So let's see, some of the apps that I like to use to keep my macros. Of course, MyFitnessPal is the most popular. That's what most people use. It's very user friendly. It's easy to get on. MyFitnessPal was created by Under Armour. They do have a paid version. I don't know anybody that has that paid version. Most people can do just fine with the free version. But, if you do the paid version and you like it, let us know and tell me what the difference is, because I have no idea. Senza, Senza, is also another really, really great app. I like to use that one to get people started because it's really easy to start at first. Total Keto Diet is another one that I don't use. That I've never used that one personally, but I know a couple people that do. Also, if you have an app that you love that's been working really good for you, drop it in the comments so that we can see, and maybe somebody else will like it also. If there's another resource that you're using that we might not know about, so let us know. DietDoctor.com is a website that I've gotten lots of really, really good information off of. He's kind of a ketogenic specialist, is known worldwide for his ketogenic studies. So I learned about macros on that website. He's got a lot of great food lists. And like I said, ketogenic eating is not a list of foods. It's a metabolic process. So, moderation, that list of foods just tells you, kind of gives you a place to get started and a suggestion. It's not really, oh, well, if it's not on this list, it's not keto. Anything can be keto if it's eaten in moderation. If you want to spend your 20 carbs a day on a quarter cup of Doritos, or you want to, spend it on, a large salad, then that's different. So you need to kind of keep that in mind also. Let's see, Pinterest. Oh, Pinterest is a super great resource. I do a lot of Pinterest. Say you're craving, I don't know, broccoli cheese soup, and you want broccoli cheese soup. Well, just type in keto broccoli cheese soup, and it'll give you a keto version of whatever it is that you're wanting. Just type in keto and whatever it is, and it'll tell you if there's a keto version or not. So I use Pinterest all the time. Google is another great resource. If I'm not sure carb content or anything like that, we have Google Homes in our home, and so okay, Google, what is the carb content in an apple?
There are 25 grams of total carbohydrate in one medium apple.
25 grams of total carbohydrate in one medium apple. So one apple has over your amount of carbs for the entire day. So use those resources. Also, one of your best resources is your buddies. We wanted you to get in touch with these people and get on a buddy list because it's important. You guys can answer your own questions and, share your recipes, share your meal plans, share, if you found this great find, hey, I found this at Walmart and it's awesome, or hey, don't do this, I tried this and it kicked me out of ketosis. Really utilize those buddy groups. That's lots of great information. You'd be surprised what your buddy knows and what you don't know. We're trying to answer your questions. There's only a few of us admins, and there's so many of you guys, and you've got some great questions. We're trying to get to them. So if you have a question and it didn't get answered, check with your buddies and see if one of them knows. Ask it again. We're trying to get to everybody. I know there's a lot of information coming at you guys, and we're trying to keep it as compact as possible, but let you, give you as much as we can. So if you got questions, make sure to ask, but check with your buddies first, and then check some of those resources that I've given you also, to help you, figure that stuff out. If you have any questions, then let us know. So I hope you guys have a great day and an awesome weekend, and see you soon. Thanks.